and I guess that's one of the reasons I've been in drug court for as long as I have, is the impact on people. But after each year, it was so impressive to see the difference that was made in these people's lives. They were in the program for about 2 years, and they used to take before and after pictures. And you would see some of these people totally drug out on different things like this, and 2 years later you would see them up there graduating, and you wouldn't be quite sure if there were 3 people up there which one was which, because they had changed so much, and their whole perspective on life and everything else was so different that I just got more sold on it every year that I was in it. We treat them more like family. We care about the outcome. It's not just a matter of making sure we get the money. Of course, we want to be paid, but at the same time, we want to impact their lives positively and allow them to have the opportunity to walk away from this experience with a more positive perspective on life. Drug court and or treatment court is an alternative sentencing program that is run by the local court system. There's an administrator of that program, and there are members on the team include treatment, they include probation and parole, they include, for our jurisdiction, a defense attorney, and there's usually a law enforcement officer, and then perhaps more than one treatment. We meet periodically, normally about 4 times a month, and go over each individual that is a participant in the treatment court program. That addresses any issues. To begin with, they are randomly tested 3 times a week, I believe it is, and if they test negative, not a problem. If they test positive, then we have to review that as far as whether there's going to be sanctions or not for that individual's conduct. They are also assessed because they have to attend treatment a couple of times a week. They have to go to NAAA type meetings, and then they also have a counseling session, and they have to meet, I guess the last critical piece is they have to meet with the probation and parole officer once a week. These are all just opportunities for those folks to assess how they're doing in the program, whether they've done everything they're supposed to do, and if there are any issues such as testing dirty, then they start the process on evaluating that. Then the once a week or once every other week, we meet to go over all these situations with these individuals and determine whether a sanction is necessary, additional treatment is necessary, additional training, different things like that, because we want these people to be successful. And then that goes along, and if they go through about 4 different phases in the program over the 2-year period, and after it seems they accomplish the things in the first phase, then they are given the opportunity to phase into the next phase, and things are changed. There's usually less treatment, but more of the NAAA type stuff, just to give them not more rope to hang themselves, but more opportunity to grow without as close an observation on our part. Then as they had been in the program a while, they become mentors for new people coming into the program. They would have all had to have had a mentor and work with that individual. And then if they successfully complete all the requirements of the program after about 2 years, then they are graduated from the program. And the recidivism rate in the treatment court concept is around 20%, as compared to DOC closer into the 66-70%. So folks who successfully complete treatment court are much less likely to get in trouble again within the court system. If it is actually drug court, there is the opportunity in many situations. Their sentencing is sort of suspended, and if they successfully complete drug court, in most cases there's the opportunity to have their charges torn up and thrown away. So then that felony goes away because they spent 2 years learning how to do things right. Now with the DWI program, that's not torn up, but they can frequently get their license back more quickly and again, avoid having additional DWIs with higher charged felonies associated with that. Over time, it has changed my perspective to become more interested in maybe rehabbing folks in addition to dealing with the criminal charges that they're facing, as opposed to just dealing with the criminal charges they're facing. A lot of folks that get into the criminal system, once they get into it, they seem to be back and multiple visits, and you see the charge list go longer and longer. I have a 9-year experience in terms of seeing people succeed, that even if they don't have the opportunity for treatment court, there's things I can explain to them as far as helping them change their lifestyle or their way of doing things in such a manner that maybe minimizes the likelihood that they would come back, in addition to doing as much as possible as far as dealing with the charges they're facing at that time. We treat them more like family. We care about the outcome, but at the same time, we want to impact their lives positively and allow them to have the opportunity to walk away from this experience with a more positive perspective on life.